Hello, everyone, and welcome to our latest edition of the Santa Ana Chamber Member Spotlight edition featuring Matt Manavi of Transworld Business Advisors. Hi, Matt. How are you?
Doing well, Fred. How you doing?
I'm doing great. So, before we began asking you all these wonderful questions, can you just tell us a little bit about yourself?
Sure, absolutely. I really appreciate it. So I've been around in the workforce for over, 35, 40 years now. Been around corporate world and whatnot, but over the last 10 years or so, started my own business, which is the American dream here. Start your own business and become a very successful entrepreneur. Gladly, it's been great. I've been doing business mergers and acquisitions and transactions for over last 8 to 10 years.
Well, I know a little bit about you, and I don't mind if hopefully you don't mind if I share it here in this interview, but
Not at all.
Matt was a scientist before, right? Tell us a little bit about that background. I always found it interesting that you transition from being the scientist to now being into business. If you can tell us a little bit about
Oh,
that.
yeah, very good. So I guess, people are wired differently, right? People think differently and so on. For me, I've always been intrigued by how things work. So always go to the fundamentals. I always go to the science of everything, try to understand things. And as such, I have thought that physics would have been fun thing to study. So in university, I got into physics department and then got my undergrad and graduate degree in physics. My concentration, this is back in the 80s, so lasers and optics were pretty hot topics back then. So I chose to concentrate in lasers and optics. So that was fun. I really enjoyed it. My idea has always been once you understand the fundamentals of everything, then no matter what situation comes in front of you, you can resolve it because you understand the fundamentals. And that
Nice.
was my principles, and I stayed with it ever since.
What made you do the transition going from physics to the business world?
Oh, okay. So I'm going to age myself now. It's very interesting. Back then, so this is again in the 80s, for those of you who were born then and remember, we used to look for businesses in Sunday classified section of newspapers, which was a business, this thick of a newspaper. Uh, so I would apply as a physicist and I would get jobs as a technician. I said, are you kidding me? One day I was looking through the classifieds and I saw a title called Optical Engineer, and the description was exactly what I knew how to do. So it just dawned on me, I'm going to change my resume, and instead of having a title as a physicist, I'm going to write an optical engineer. And I did that. Nothing else was changed. In a matter of a week, I got 4 job interviews and then 2 job offers. And that was my first learning into perception is reality.
Hmm.
Doesn't matter what you know or how much you know. It's like how you present it and how you talk about it is what people understand, and then it will click with them.
Nice.
So anyway, that's
That's what brought you into the business world.
that
So
exactly. So I started as an engineer and then grew into the basically engineering management. But what really shaped my life to be where I am today was 19 years of working in small startup companies, high-tech companies in Silicon Valley. And that really taught me how to start a business and what are the things that you need to be concerned about and take care of, especially when you're helping grow the business. And what are the ways that business can not be successful? Then, after that, we moved to Southern California and I worked for a Fortune 500 company. And when I joined the company, I think it was somewhere around $2 billion. When I left the company 11 years after, it was about 16 billion. So I participated and learned through that growth, uh, managing programs that that fuel that growth and deliver to market. And that kind of taught me how a successful business is run and how a successful business can grow by multifold. Combination of those two extremes then kind of got me where I am, being a business broker and M&A advisor, trying to help business owners either prepare their business for sale, or if it's not ready for sale, handhold them, explain them what they need to do to get it ready for sale. Because I live the dream. I don't speak academically. I lived it. I know what to do.
So what made you get involved with Transworld?
Uh, Fantastic questions. You just come up with these great questions. Uh, When I left the corporate world, I didn't know what to do. One of my good friends, who is now my partner, suggested checking into business brokerage and check out Transworld Business Advisors. So I had no clue what a business broker was back then. This is 2016. Um, so I checked, Transworld Business Advisors and other business brokerage franchise opportunities back then, or even I thought maybe I can start on my own. After I interviewed, some of these, and I decided that I wanted to maybe focus more on Transworld. So I took, there's an exploration trip that you go to learn about the franchise and talk with various individuals. Um, Having had my experience, I kid you not, I had multiple pages of questions for everybody. I was actually commented on it that you're the only one who's coming with like 6 pages of questions. Great. When I met the owner, Andy Cagnetta, and I share this with everybody that who, like, say they want to join our agency, and I tell them, here's the reason I joined Transworld Business Advisors. It was Andy Cagnetta, who's still the CEO of the company, and I love that man. He's such a great person. Uh, my first question to him was, Andy, what is your vision of Transworld Business Advisors? And I knew the answer would either cause me to walk out of the door or stick with Transworld Business Advisors. His answer to me was, Matt, I want Transworld Business Advisors to be synonymous with NASDAQ. Now, for those of you who know what NASDAQ is, I told myself back then, even if he achieves 50% of what he just promised me, I'm in because he's the man who's got the vision and he's going to grow the company. And I, as a franchisee, will benefit from these tidal wave growing.
Mm.
To me, fast forward 9 years now, he's been true to his promise. We are the largest business brokerage and M&A advisory globally. We've got presence on
Oh,
every continent. There's no industry that we've not touched. We've become the go-to company to help business owners when they're thinking of selling their business.
okay. That's amazing. So I guess this is a good segue into, this is the time, this is time to brag a little bit. So you kind of went into it a little bit right now, but what sets Transworld apart from other business brokers? Why should
So,
you come to Transworld, in other words?
right, right. Now, so there are two aspects, right? And I just talked about Transworld Business Advisors. As a corporate, uh, we are the best, we are the largest business brokerage globally, let alone the United States. That is the corporate. The kind of when I went through my training, the individuals who were in that room with me were ex-business owners, executives, CFOs, CPAs, all very highly educated individuals who understand how the business world works. So that says something about the brand and the quality of the individuals, the franchisees who own these agencies, right? So that's the Transworld Business Advisors quality of brand. Then you come down to individual agencies, say for ours, the agencies that my partner and I own here in Southern California. What sets us apart is, I can say it in these few words. We always focus on win-win scenarios. What I have learned throughout my life is between the buyer and the seller, if both parties do not believe that they're winning, the deal will not take place. So we always work with both sides to make sure that we can achieve a win-win scenario. This is the only way forward.
Okay.
Relative to our agency and how we train our agents is by helping them understand how to provide a comprehensive business valuation for our clients. That includes a pre-due diligence analysis as well. Our goal is to identify the good, the bad, and the ugly within a business before we present that company to a potential buyer. Now, the reasons for doing that homework upfront is when we encounter surprises during due diligence process, a
Mhm.
buyer may retrade or may walk away. Okay, so we lost an opportunity. However, if a buyer is surprised post-closing, then there's a high likelihood that there's a lawsuit coming our way. So we do that homework upfront to protect our clients who are the sellers as much as we can.
Very good. Very good. Now let's focus a little bit about Santa Ana and specifically the Santa Ana Chamber. So there's a lot of chambers around.
Yes.
Some are better than others. Some are more active than others. So what made you want to join the Santa Ana Chamber specifically? Was it the networking, the resources? Somebody said, "Hey, Matt, try the Santa Ana Chamber." But what made you join us?
Very good question. So again, initially when I became a business broker, I thought, well, I got to go to various networking events. One of them was join different chambers. So I'll tell you the reasons I joined Santa Ana Chamber. One was, well, it's in my territory amongst some of the other cities. So I could do that. But the city of Santa Ana is one of the oldest cities. And I knew that there are a lot of older businesses in city of Santa Ana. So that was a selfish reason for me that once I joined Santa Ana Chamber of Commerce, then I can get in front of some of these business owners, which have got some of the older businesses, manufacturing, distribution, things like that. But why Santa Ana Chamber as opposed to other chambers? Um, I really like the community that Santa Ana Chamber had created. I like what Dave Elliott has done as the chairperson of Santa Ana Chamber. Immediately, I became an ambassador to Santa Ana Chamber. So all of that really helped me to create a network, work with other individuals, and get to know other business owners. Dave was very helpful in hand-holding me and guiding me. Hey, Dave, I need to know this person and that person. So everybody was very welcoming. Everybody was very helpful. And I joined Santa Ana Chamber in 2017 and have been a member ever since. And proudly have become a board member. Actually became a board member last year.
Oh, that's very, very good. So tell us how being part of the chamber has helped your business evolve or grow your network. So tell us a little bit about that. Any specific wins or connections that may come to mind?
Uh, Absolutely. So there are multiple ways, right? So one is our ambassadors meetings. That is once a month. So there are a group of business owners and so on. We meet together and we network. Maybe there's some commerce that can take place. The other thing is for some time, Santa Ana Chamber had these uh, retention walks, which we would go as the representatives of Santa Ana Chamber as ambassadors. We would go to various businesses and encourage them to join the chamber, but at the same time, then we had a chance to talk about what the services we offer. So that also helped. again, these are for selfish reasons. Obviously, we are here to be able to generate some commerce.
Mhm.
But I think most importantly, I want to say that, bragging time, that with support of Santa Ana Chamber and Dave, I was able to start what we call a business connection luncheon that has allowed us to gather various business owners once a month so that they can network, they can generate commerce amongst themselves, while we will have one business owner to educate the rest of us about the important factors in that industry. For example, if somebody has an HR advisement company, then that individual will talk about all the HR laws that are relevant to owning a business. So that has been going successfully for the last 2 years. And I'm very proud to be one of the individuals who initiated and has been working amongst the rest of the team to grow it and make it successful.
And I can personally attest to that. You've done a great job in helping grow that part of that networking opportunities in the San Ana Chamber. So thank you for that. Now, you took the jump into owning your own business nearly 10 years ago, correct? You said 2016, 2017. What's one
2016.
what's one piece of advice you can give somebody that's thinking of starting a business in Santa Ana or just anywhere in particular? What's one type of advice?
Sure,
Yeah.
sure. Now, you know, if you've listened every time I talk to business owners, I tell them, I ask a question, a rhetorical question. When is the best time to think of your end game plan? Is when you start your business. So as soon as you start your business, you really want to think about what is your plan? When will you sell the business? Will you give it to your, children, nieces, nephews? What is your end game plan? How much money will you want to build as equity in your business by the time you're ready to sell it? It's really important, excuse me, to work with the right professionals, financial planners, to come up with that dollar value, and maybe an exit planner, somebody like me, a business broker who's been around, to provide that initial guidance, reverse engineer, and say, if this is, like, for example, if you want 5 million being the exit price, the selling price for your business, then possibly you need to be at about $1 million to $2 million in adjusted EBITDA. So now you have your plan, you're just starting. What is it going to take for you to get from this point to getting to about 1 million adjusted net, for example,
Wow,
right?
I never thought about it in that sense ever. And a lot of us own our own businesses. We want to start and we want to start making money. We never think about that. If we're gonna, is it gonna be a valuable asset to us, or is it just once we're gone, it's done, it's not valuable, nothing, it's not worth anything.
You
So,
know, sorry, I just need to, this thing just occurred to me, and if you allow me, I say this, and it's really to the benefit of the business owners and the individuals who are thinking uh, about starting a business. We always say, if you've got money to invest, always diversify, right? There are many venues for investing your money. But I want to talk about why buying a business is a good approach for the entrepreneurs, right? Again, people are wired differently. Somebody may say, I'd love to work for someone, and that's great. Nothing against it. But for an entrepreneur who wants to start a business, here are the benefits of owning a business, right? A business generates cash flow for the business owner. It provides a lot of perks for the business owner. It builds equity, right? So when you're ready to sell, you have a high opportunity of building equity so you can sell that equity to the next entrepreneur. Lastly, you are mostly in control of the destiny of your business. That is in contrast, for example, if you buy a commercial property, then something happens, you cannot move that commercial property. It's fixed in its place. Whereas when you're a savvy business owner and you can feel some headwinds, you can define and redesign your business and change its direction to be able to withstand those headwinds and come out even stronger. Those are five benefits that a business offers that I have not found any other investment vehicle to match.
Hmm.
So you are an entrepreneur or you are a business owner, usually definitely take advantage of it and make sure that you build your equity and you are in control of your destiny.
Well, great feedback. Very great advice. Thank you. Now, we're at the end of our interview. Just one last thing. Where can people connect with you, learn more about you? So give us, website, socials, just basically the best way to get in touch with you in case anybody needs your services.
Absolutely. Thank you. Appreciate it. So the easiest way, if you're a member of Santa Ana Chamber, go ask them. Everybody knows me. Or you can check on Santa Ana Chamber's website. But I'll make it really easy. So look at our website at T-World, T as Transworld, WRLD, like the world, tworld.com/orange. Remember the sweet fruit orange? And it's tworld.com/orange. That's it. You go on that website, you'll see our listings, you'll see our bios, you'll see our emails, our telephone numbers. So all you need to remember is tworld.com/orange.
Thank you, Matt. Thank you for joining us on our latest episode of the Santa Ana Chamber Member Spotlight Series. And thank you for allowing us to interview you.
Thank you so much, Fred, for interviewing me, and thank you for the opportunity.
All right. Thank you.